Well, hello and welcome. Thank you for finding us, the Heart and Soul Podcast. On today's episode, Mariah is going to share her thoughts and practical life actual lessons on manifesting. She has gone from struggling with manifesting to being a master manifester, in my opinion. And so I just want to introduce her and thank her for sharing her wealth of knowledge on this subject.
Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
And Monique.
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique.
Thanks. I'm excited to talk about manifesting, and I want to start by saying that I think I've actually been a manifester for a really long time.
Oh, okay, I got that wrong. Sorry.
I didn't have a name for it.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
I remember early in life thinking, like when I was really young, like I want things and then I get them. I think about them and then I make like they happen. And like starting to
Wow.
just develop kind of like a trail of this, of like, I say it out loud, I think about it, I get it.
Impressive.
Okay, now what can I get next? I mean, I really credit that for like all the things having aligned in my life. But I like didn't have a way to explain it. I didn't talk about it. I just
Okay.
like in the back of my head,
You were like,
put the signs together that this wasn't complete coincidence,
right.
and that there had to be like something I had figured, like something going on that was making this happen. I mean, and I've had a relatively normal life,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also just manifested that. Like I've gone after certain things, and the attention towards them has then made them happen. So it also part of my personality, and I'm an Enneagram 7. I talk about that a lot. I bring that up all the
Yeah.
time. But I naturally come with a lot of positivity. I naturally avoid negativity
Yes.
and anything that is difficult.
It's one of your best qualities.
I go away from it.
Yes.
It can be challenging to have to actually sit with that sometimes.
Yes.
Be a little bit more healthy in balancing
Yeah, I
sides
understand.
of personality.
Yeah, right.
But I think 7s are naturally pretty good at manifesting because we can positively go after. We're always in pursuit,
Right.
of
And-
the next thing.
And don't you feel like the attitude is like a lot of the
Huge.
of the parts of manifesting, right? So if you're already a positive person,
Yep.
then I could see how it could come easier for you.
So let's go back and talk a little bit about what the actual idea of manifesting
Yes,
is.
please do.
So I love you in the past episodes have shared definitions of things,
Yeah.
and I feel like they really get to me. So I decided I would come today with a definition of manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two here that I really like: easily understood or recognized by the mind. Obvious.
Interesting.
So
Interesting definition for
I know.
manifesting.
exactly, because you think of it as just like
The attainable thing.
practice
Pursuit.
of making something
Yes.
happen.
Yes.
But it's really about understanding and recognizing with your mind something that's already there.
Whoa.
Right?
That
I love
actually
this.
kind of, yeah.
Yep. And so here's the other piece of
Yes.
it that I think actually is more um, pertaining to what we think that it should be, to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. So it's a combination of like, you can see it and understand it, and then you can show it and display it.
Okay.
And so where I've kind of become realizing in my own manifesting is that I need to say it out loud or show it visually. And when I do those two things, I can make it happen.
Okay,
And-
so give me examples of what you're talking about to ground this into reality.
Totally. So when I first learned that there was a term for this, or that this was a thing,
Right,
that
when you're
people
just like,
do,
oh,
so
wait, this just doesn't happen for everyone. And then there's actually a word that this
it was in
yes.
a coaching experience. I think maybe in a private coaching. I don't exactly remember when it first found a term for it.
Sure.
But I think it was with a coach, and it was like, well, you just need to manifest that. And I'm like,
Yeah, what? Wait, what's
you need
that?
to do what now?
Yes.
You know, it's like, well, you need to say it out loud, set it as something you want or as a goal. And by the very act of doing that, you will start to have it become available to you. And I was like, that's just kind of what I generally do, but I didn't know there was a name for it.
You're like,
So then
oh,
I'm like,
check.
I manifest. I'm a manifester. I'm manifesting this. Well, this happened to coincide with a lot of the world's coming into this term as a thing.
Okay.
And so, it was maybe a little bit before it became trendy, as I would say it is now.
Yes.
But I realized as I like reflected backwards, I'd been doing this for so long.
Yes.
And it's really a combination of things. So it's like what I just read in the definition. It's thinking it and knowing that you have the positive capability to achieve, to obtain.
Yes.
It's whether
Yes.
it's an achievement or a physical thing or a feeling, whatever it is, like trusting in yourself and knowing that you can have it.
Right.
You're allowed it.
It's within the laws of gravity.
Yeah. Like it's
right.
anything is possible.
Yes.
And there's so many quotes that you could go to of like, if you think it, you can achieve it.
Yes. I really do feel
So
we're
it's-
limited by our minds.
Yeah. So it's like
Right.
having that mindset, getting yourself there to that mindset.
Yeah.
But then specifically visualizing, either through mental visualization. For me,
Feeling it.
it's like, how does it feel in the
right.
body?
How does
to
this
have
jacket
this
make
thing?
me? Yeah. Right.
I'm very visual, so for me, it's vision boarding.
Yes.
Like getting a photo of it, whether that's digitally or
Yes.
physically, and looking at it and seeing how that all makes sense and comes together. And nothing brings me more joy than taking that experience or that thing and putting it right up against that vision board and saying like, check, done, next.
Right. Take it
And-
off and put something else up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I realized then, okay, I do this. Like
Yeah.
I accept that I'm capable of it. I think about what I want. And then the next step is what is really important is I align the pieces of what I want, like as signs, like from the universe. That was the other thing that I was kind of learning at the same time is I hadn't really had a religious practice or something to go to as like, well, if God wants this or
Yes.
and I was introduced to the concept of the universe, and I was like, this feels right to me. This is not male or female.
Yes.
It's just this overarching knowing.
Yes.
The universe will send me signs, right? So
yeah.
then I started to kind of combine like, I'm ready for it, I want it, and this universe will begin to send me signs, and I will find my awareness to collect those signs and take them to the next.
Right. I will pay
next
attention.
door.
It's really about paying attention.
It will
Right.
bring me attention because I
Right.
can see what I want. So then I started kind of putting together, okay, once I received those signs, now me of a few years ago would take that sign and just like run hard at it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great, I can do this. And I would just do that.
Almost though to the detriment of yourself, probably.
And to missing maybe other signs that weren't so positive, or maybe were actually pointing me in a slightly different direction.
Okay.
But I was manifesting like almost too quickly to the point that there was
Manic manifesting.
Yeah, that's real.
Yes.
It's like manic.
Yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
can make a lot happen fast.
Yes.
But I was burning out quickly because it was too much too soon.
Makes sense.
And it wasn't, and the goal of it wasn't bringing me ultimately what I wanted. Like I was getting achievement, but then I suddenly clicked into achievement is nothing without joy.
Yes, it's so
and
true.
I suddenly had another aha moment that was like, well, I could make anything happen, but what I want to make happen are things that bring me ease and joy.
Yes.
If it doesn't come along with those two
Yeah.
elements,
What's
is
the
that
point?
really what I want?
Right. Right.
So
Like to just have stuff to have stuff.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Like, if I have a physical object, because that's kind of the easiest thing to
Well, it's tangible in the
explain,
3D. Right.
it's 3D. If I want that thing and I get that thing and I look at it, it means nothing to me.
Why did I pursue
Now
that thing?
I've expended a lot of energy.
Yes.
So I want to align what I'm actually going after and manifesting around things that either bring me ease or bring me joy. Well, that opened a whole other door
Yes.
of just exciting possibilities.
Right. Like I could do what I want.
Yes, like I like joy. I like to pursue
I like being happy.
happiness and
Yes.
laughter and memories and all of this. So why don't I just combine this ability to see and make something happen with the right things happening? And that unlocked what I believe is just like one of the greatest lessons of my life that I did inherently kind of know early. And I think when I was younger, I was more manifesting in that way.
Yeah.
But then life comes in, and ambition and ego.
Yes.
And
Other people's opinions and voices in your head. Right.
And like what you think you should be doing. And suddenly you become a manic manifester.
Okay. So I do have a
to
question.
burnout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I really appreciate the definition and how you've used it in your life, sharing your experiences. What do you say to people? And maybe this, you'll need a second to think about it, but like, what if you don't know what you want? So there's a lot of people who are kind of just bumbling around in like this survival mode because maybe they don't know what they want. Maybe they can't identify the thing. How do they manifest if they're like, well, okay, great. I want what? And I'm going to go after what? Like, I just can't do the thing.
Totally.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. And that I struggle with that sometimes too. I go through seasons of life where I really don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in that right now.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay.
And so the tools that I've learned to use in that state are I mean, a little bit is like throwing some things at paper and seeing how they make you feel.
Sure.
So throwing some things at the wall and sensing for the universal signs of that brought me joy or that gives me ease. And but you have to start somewhere. So when I talk to people about first saying things out loud, you have to develop a practice of saying it out loud, whether it's to a trusted friend.
Yes.
Even just in your own like aloneness, like talking out loud of saying things can really help.
Okay.
But you have to throw things at the wall.
Okay.
And say them and see how they
see
make
how
you
it lands.
feel and see how it lands. Maybe your medium is writing. Maybe you need to write it in a journal.
Right.
Maybe you need to. There's a great journaling practice that I have that I just ask, universe, what would you have me know today? And then I just see what happens with my pen. And I think that, or it's not necessarily asking other people for their opinion of what you should do.
Yes.
But it's starting conversation on, I'm thinking about this thing with a lot of different environments, people. Being curious. Actually, my husband has really introduced me to this concept of curiosity.
I love it.
Being curious about what sparks, what brings me that little bit of joy.
Right. Like, ooh, I felt something there. What was that?
Okay, we're going to work on that.
Yes.
Pick that thing, that one thing. Now let's open that up. Let's go to the next level of what are the various aspects of that would be worth trying or testing.
Okay.
Or getting.
Okay.
And so it's like such a minute step, But over time, you start to tune into what really felt right and had good results versus what didn't feel good and took you down a different path or direction. And so it's literally like, what do I want to eat today? You can manifest like the thing that you actually
you manifested tea. Remember, like we were coming here to do a podcast, and you were in the morning. You're like, I'd really like this tea, and I texted you like, I'm going to Starbucks. What would you like? That. And you're like, dude, I manifested you like somebody bringing me tea. Remember?
I do.
So simple.
It's so simple, and then my day was like made and joyful,
right?
Because I just was thinking about it. I said it out loud. I kind of wrapped my brain.
You didn't even have to do the thing to make it happen.
And then next thing I know, someone's like, "Can I bring you your
favorite tea?"
Well, why not? Sure,
I'll take that.
Amazing, yeah. So keeping it as simple as possible, getting going. Like, you don't need to plan your whole life here. I'm just saying, like, let's start today.
Right.
Let's start today with like, I'd like to wake up in the morning and have a joyful day. That's a practice you taught me. It's like, first minute
set your intentions
open, set my intentions of the type of day I'd like to manifest. From there, I really want to feel professional today. Well, then I'm going to pick out an outfit that's professional. Like saying how you feel and then creating an outcome. And once you do that, then the outcome actually just starts coming to you.
Yes.
You open your closet door and the pink coat is there and you're like, I love that coat. That's perfect.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like when you are able to claim the thing you want, it's almost as if like, oh, we got to align this for her. We got to align this for her. The universe just has to align it naturally because you owned it. You claimed it. You're making it yours. It's like you ask and you shall receive, kind of like the genie analogy.
Literally the most bizarre circumstance when you start to feel it happening and see it happening.
You're like, whoa.
And I actually brought this practice into my work as a wedding planner because I would talk to my clients about visualizing their day. So a big part of what I do in design for them is like the visuals of what their day will look like.
Makes sense.
So I walk them through, what does it look like, feel like, what are the colors you see, what is the feeling in the room? We go through all these same things that I'm talking about of like how they want to build this ideal world that they're investing in. So they're going to spend a lot of money. Well, let's get it right. Let's make sure we protect your investment of how you're going to spend this time. And then a lot of times it's super interesting to me. People will start to say what they want, and then they'll censor themselves. They'll say, well, what I really want is, no, I can't afford it. And my job as their planner is to say, no.
Right.
You need to put it all on the table.
Right. Let's just talk about it. Right.
You've just eliminated your dreams to get that thing without even saying it out loud.
Right.
It's rampant. This feeling of like, I don't deserve, I couldn't possibly, I can't afford.
Yes.
The can'ts.
There's prejudgments on themselves. Yes.
So I open a space for them to just dream.
Interesting. Okay.
Throw me everything that you've got. And then I look at it and I take realities around it of where are you at? What is your budget that you're starting with? And so again, like applying this to life, like we got to start somewhere. So if you've got $1 to spend, what is the best way to manifest the ideal use of that dollar?
Sure.
So I get them through kind of the design phase where like we can see what it's going to be like. We can figure out across a spectrum of how they can get it. Like just because they don't think they can afford it, they could maybe afford a version of it.
Yes.
And maybe that aversion will be just perfectly acceptable and even better than what they think they really wanted.
So true.
And so I start to develop with the client this mindset of what is meant to be on the wedding day is what will be, but we need to say out loud what we want. Otherwise, it will be what somebody else wants.
Yes.
And you will end your day feeling like,
well, that was pretty, but it wasn't what I wanted.
What I wanted.
Right.
But you got yourself there. So I help them to develop a mindset, because if we don't have the mindset, actually, by the time we get to the wedding day, that I have manifested this wedding that I wanted, I mean, it's really hard for me to do my job. It's really hard for anybody to have a good time because the couple themselves aren't happy with it.
Yes.
Because it wasn't what they really wanted.
Right. And
so I work backwards from that. And I love, I light up talking about my work, but I found that I could bring this practice into work. And so it's actually given me, an ability to explain it.
Yes.
And so then take that to life. So we work with
And then you're
clients.
inspiring your clients to do this and teaching them in a really cool way to do this.
And I love to use it. So we make a vision board for their,
I love that.
for their wedding planning. And I love going back with their photos after the wedding and going, oh, remember this? We did it.
Look at
Remember
it. Picture here.
Look how
Yeah.
it
Yes.
turned out.
Yes.
Remember, like, one of my favorite stories of all time is that I had a client who had midway through the planning kind of a little bit of a crisis of like, they thought they were going to get this hotel block. It was a perfect thing. It didn't work out. They were really in crisis. And I just said, okay, we're going to accept this sign from the universe that was not the right thing for you. It felt that like,
Yeah.
could have
You
worked
thought
out.
it was, but
The universe
yes.
is telling you that it's a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you just need to be open to opportunities that will come. You don't need to chase them. Where you will stay, where your guests will stay, will come to you.
Yes.
I swear, a week later, she calls me, you're not going to believe this, but I just went on Airbnb and I found the most gorgeous house for rent on the beach.
Wow.
And
It's everything.
And there's a house next
oh
door.
my gosh.
And everyone can stay there.
Oh my gosh.
And I love the beach.
It was way
And, like,
better.
I can't believe that I actually get to have it. I thought I couldn't have it. Well, girlfriend, you can have anything you want. So now we're
Beautiful.
on the wedding day. I'm helping her get ready. She's having her first look on this beach. And I'm standing there in the moment and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, people.
Yes.
This is how this goes.
Yes.
And I
This
can
is the
tell
thing.
that story
Yes.
100
Mhm.
times over
Mhm.
of moments exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk with our mastermind group about it.
Yes.
And so I kind of want to go into like some really tangible practices that people can use to do this.
Please, let's
And
do
you
that.
hear the term a lot about vision boarding. I've said it already in this
Yes,
conversation
yes.
a couple times. But I think it's one of the absolute most powerful exercises.
Well, we're both so visual.
Yeah,
so for
I
us,
am. I'm absolutely
yes,
visual.
It just,
and most people are
I
some
feel-
element of
yes.
visual.
yes.
But I have kind of found several different methodologies of doing
Mhm.
it and having, just like we've talked about meditating, there's different ways that you can do it.
Yes.
Having options available really helps. So there's a couple different things that I found super helpful lately. One is to create virtual vision boards
Mhm.
using Pinterest and Canva. So Canva, if you're not using it, is like the best graphic
I'm doing
design
this. You
tool.
were telling me about it, and it sounds
Obsessed.
fantastic. You put
Yeah.
it on like your desktop for
Yeah,
your
so I
computer.
create a presentation on Canva in the
Yes.
presentation size and slide. And actually, you can go in and search a specific size that says wallpaper. It's just like
Oh, perfect.
computer wallpaper. And then I start Pinteresting,
Dropping
and
images.
and pulling colors and words and I don't really go into that process with any set expectation of like sometimes I'm like, oh wait,
Mhm.
I know I want to take this trip, so I'm going to put it on the board, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But I actually did this exercise with my team recently, and we literally sat in a coffee shop all with our laptops, and I said, we have 45 minutes. I want you to put a vision board together for professional and personal. And then we're going to share them. We're going to say it out loud. So we all just started working away, and you find one thing, and it makes you think of another thing, and then you add this thing. And by the end of it, we all had these beautiful, inspiring stories.
I love it.
That we now together could carry out. And I actually I'm just going to share this little story. So I put on this vision board, my personal one. Actually, maybe it was the work one. Well, they kind of, they're very combined for me.
Right.
This black blazer with gold buttons. And again, I like a physical thing to work towards. Like it's
Mhm.
like a gateway
Yeah.
almost.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I just think this represents our new branding. I could see myself professionally.
It's a lady
in
boss.
in this piece
Yes.
of apparel.
Yes.
And I'm just putting it on there. A week later, I randomly find myself in a mall in the Twin Cities, Mall of America. I wasn't supposed to be there. That was not, we had extra time in our day. My daughter wanted to
Just
go
happened.
there. I happened to walk by Banana Republic. I was like, well, I haven't been in, I haven't been in there in a while. My daughter wanted to go in. I walk in and sitting there is this blazer. It's so literally
Fantastic.
the vision. It's better than the one I put on the board.
Of course.
It
And
fits
it fits
better.
probably
I
perfect.
put that thing on. I was like a glove. My daughter's looking at me and she's like, well, you need that. It's meant to be. And I was like, you don't even know how meant to be it is.
Yes.
Like,
I
need
literally
this.
asked for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Can I have that? Done. You know, I wish
Beautiful.
I could say that it was like heavily discounted because I'm working towards that next level. I've definitely had
Yes.
that happen many
Yes.
times in the
Budget.
past. But at that, it was like I was like, yes, this is, the value is here. I'm
Mhm.
done. I'm buying it. I wore it last night and I was like, how good did I feel?
Amazing.
I felt like a boss.
And
'cause
you
I
like
made this happen.
Yes.
And-
It's like even more perfect of a piece to wear because it has special meaning.
No, it has meaning. There's
Right.
a story.
Yes.
I wanted it. I found it all within a week's time.
Beautiful.
Wanted it, found it, wore it, felt it. Boom. What's next?
Right.
And there are so many things now on that vision board that I put together. I came to my team the next week and at our meeting and I was like, yeah, I'm like full on my way to manifesting those things.
Wow.
And I think
Impressive.
they're feeling it too because I also know how to help guide them towards the things
Yes.
they want because they showed me. They physically showed me what they want in their work world.
Now you're like,
in their
now I
personal
know what
world.
you want. Yes. We're going to make
We
this
can do
happen.
this.
Yes.
If we can see it, we can do it. And so that's the piece that people I think are intimidated by.
Mhm.
They don't take the time or have the
Mhm.
resources to do
But
it.
45 minutes isn't that long.
Well, you could do it in
Right.
10
And then you
minutes.
look at it on your computer screen every single
we
day.
missed that part.
Yes.
So then you take that background and you put it up on the background of your
Mhm,
laptop screen.
mhm.
So
I
if you're
think that's
somebody who
perfect.
spends a lot of time with that,
Yes.
that's great. I have other examples of physical vision boards that I've
Mhm,
made.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one, I feel like it was my lifetime vision board, a kind of very overall. And I have that on the back of my medicine cabinet door.
You
So when
open
I
it-
open it in the morning.
There it
it's
is.
there, and it has been there every day since I made it 5 years ago.
Beautiful.
And I look at that. It has things about retirement, and I'm like, on my way, working towards that. It's going to
perfect.
happen. And I shut that and I go on. You've taught me the art of pocket vision boarding.
Yes.
So we do that in our retreats.
Yes.
And you take an index card, 5x7 or 3x5 index card. We bring tons of magazines. We have a really good time just sitting around,
Mhm.
cutting out, clipping. And you do a card for different areas of your life.
Yes.
So if I want to manifest in my relationship, my work, my health, you can
Family,
pick however
yep, mhm.
many you want
Yes.
that you want to do.
2 or 10,
But I love
20.
just like doing this little card and then you hole punch it, tie it together, and you have a flip book.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
So I have a couple of these
Mhm.
and I actually have them by my bedside and every once in a while I'll go through them
Flipping
and I'm like,
through. Mm-hmm.
nailed it, done.
And
yes.
nailed it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Back on track.
Yep.
And I look back at them as archives
Mhm.
of how what I wanted and how I've gotten there or how it has evolved
Yes.
and how cool it is to see the different things that had to come into play, the doors I had to open, the universal signs I had to listen to get to the point where I can
Yes.
say like, that happened. But without a positive mindset that I am allowed
Mhm.
to have this thing or do
Mhm.
this thing,
Mhm.
and then the physical representation
Mhm.
and presentation
in
to
reality,
the world
right? In
that
3D.
I want it,
Yes.
that's the secret.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
It's like my favorite thing to teach people because then I get to watch them immediately realize it.
And then they can be on the pursuit of the things that bring them joy.
Yes.
And isn't that like what you and I really are working for is like, we don't want to just be living our dreams. We want everyone, we want to bring everyone along to live our dreams.
Oh my gosh, the more the merrier.
Yes. And if you can manifest your dreams. So thank you for teaching us all that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing how you use manifestation, what manifestation is, and, you know, how you influence people to be manifestors in the work that you do so that they literally can have everything that they're dreaming of, whether it's for their events, their weddings, whether it's for your team, getting the things they want, whether it's for you or your family,
Yep.
us together, we
Yes.
manifest.
We manifested being here right
know.
now today.
And trips we've
Literally,
taken.
we have manifested travel.
We've manifested so many amazing. We manifested this moment. We manifested masterminds. We've manifested travel. I mean, So thank you for sharing your gifts and abilities to manifesting and all of your knowledge about it. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I have no plans to stop anytime soon.
Good.
It's a lot of fun.
Good.
There's so much joy involved. And if you ever want to talk about it or have help in manifesting,
hit you
any
up.
of those things,
Yes, yes.
let's
do it.
Dial in on that.
Yes.
And set some opportunities and see what even better could happen, because that's the thing. Like, what you think you want, there's an even better thing out there you don't even know, and it'll reveal itself. So
Yeah.
thanks for letting me share.
Yes. Thank you.
Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and if you've loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.